Hello there. Welcome to Just the Dis. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name's Brian, and I'm doing a little collection update. I got some fun stuff here, some Scream Factory, some Second Sight Special Edition. I've got an Indicator box set, and we'll see how much more I have time for. But let's get into it. Let's talk about The Vampire Lovers. This is the collector's edition from Scream Factory. And this is quite the loaded special edition, I gotta say. I will talk about the features in a second, but I do think this is a really interesting movie in that it's Hammer, and it's obviously noted for, as you can probably guess, a lesbian vampire angle, which both the director and Ingrid Pitt, the star, don't necessarily acknowledge as part of the story that they saw, which is interesting because it's pretty clearly there. But anyway, this is a film that's based on a really old story. And I can't now, let's see. Well, the screenplay is by Tudor Gates, but it's based on a really old story about this female vampire. And the lore of it is not unlike Dracula in terms of, that's how big a deal this story was. I mean, it's a great adaptation of the story. And the story starts with this vampire played by Ingrid Pitt. I think Carmela is her name, or I'm mispronouncing the name, but she's been sort of preying on this town or areas near this countryside, this English countryside, for 100 years, and we're sort of catching her in the middle of her, feeding spree. And her idea is basically she ingratiates herself to a family and tends to go after young women by seducing and befriending them, and then ultimately killing them. And that's one interesting twist about this movie, is that we don't have as much of the vampire woman turning women into vampires. I mean, there is, I think there's a little bit of that, but there's more of like them just being food for her, and her, having some affection for them, but ultimately just seeing them as, I think Kim Newman's got a great interview in here where he was talking about, he had heard that Ingrid Pitt, her take was that the vampire character saw humans as chickens, basically, like just something she's going to eat, And so I found that really interesting as a take on this kind of movie, and this kind of movie is obviously something Hammer did a lot of, but this one was, I think, co-produced by AIP. I just know that AIP, it's an AIP Hammer co-production. And so that's kind of cool, but also makes sense that it seems a bit more exploitative on the side of the lesbian vampire sort of take. But it is a really, truly fantastic performance from Ingrid Pitt. Like, she just is otherworldly as this vampire woman. And I really think it's a wonderful performance, unforgettable. And Peter Cushing has a small role, and that was an AIP request that he be part of the movie, but he's not a huge part of the movie. But yeah, okay, so the character is in this cycle of, killing people and moving on, and Tudor Gates has a great structural thing that he does for his screenplay where he adds like a precursor incident to the novella, I think it was. And so we get to see her inciting incident, her first encounter with a family, and that's where Cushing comes in with his daughter, and then she moves on to another family, and that other family is where the book, I think, starts. So we get this idea of this vampire who is killing, and now the problem, not to give away too much, but the thing she's running into is that she actually has real affection for her newest victim, and it becomes kind of a conflicted thing from that point on. And so we're seeing this, vampire killer who is now dealing with a new emotional thing, right? So in terms of features, there's a lot of stuff listed on the back here, but it's not all there. So I'm trying to look at my, I took a few pictures of the menu so that I could refer back to them. And I just want to look, okay, so like in terms of the features, in interview stuff, you have Carnal Crimson, Kim Newman on the Carmilla is her name. Carmilla Legend, that's great, of course. Kim Newman is always wonderful to hear him talk about anything, including horror, Hammer horror. Fangs for the Memories, Remembering the Vampire Lovers. To Love a Vampire, an introduction by Madeline Smith. Madeline Smith, Vampire Lover. Trailers from Hell, The Vampire Lovers. The Feminine Fantastique, Resurrecting the Vampire Lovers. New Blood, Hammer Enters the 70s. Reading of Carmilla by Ingrid Pitt. That's pretty cool. That's her voice reading from the original story. And then something called The Rapture of Cruelty, Carmilla in Classic Cinema audio essay, a deleted scene. And then, I sent myself 2 pictures, but only one came through. So hold on one second. I know I have the other picture on my phone here. And this one is about the commentary tracks, which include 3, I believe. Commentary by Steve Haberman and Konstantin Nasser. That's great. Those two are a wonderful duo, and they are, just approaching the film from academic/historical perspectives. Then we have an old DVD commentary that includes Roy Ward Baker, Ingrid Pitt, and Tudor Gates. And that's good. It's a little dry and a little quiet in spots, and since this is a movie that was a long time ago for a lot of these people, there's not a lot. Sometimes they don't have a lot to say. So it's still good, but interesting. And then there's a commentary by Marcus Hearn and Jonathan Rigby, as well as that Rapture of Cruelty, Carmilla in Classic Cinema that I mentioned. So a really, really robust collector's edition from Scream Factory. Here's the alternate artwork. But yeah, just for Hammer fans and fans of sort of the erotic vampire film, Daughters of Darkness fans, that kind of thing. Vampire Lovers is definitely going to be up your alley and worth your time. That's from Scream Factory. And then real briefly, I haven't had any time to dig into this yet, but I got the Session 9 special collector's edition from Second Sight. This is a Region B lock disc. But it's a beauty, not surprisingly. Second Sight really does nice stuff. So you have some cardboard lobby card type stuff. You have a really nice bound booklet with matte finish inside, full color photos and essays. Just really, really well put together. Again, I'm not surprised. Second Sight does a lot of great work. And then here is the actual Blu-ray. And here's the case, which is a nice, almost Arrow Video style, thick cardboard, or, hard case, basically, that everything's contained in. But here's the Blu-ray. I wish it was a 4K, but not to be. But I know this includes some, if not all, the features from the Scream Factory Blu-ray, but I haven't had a chance to do a full comparison. But I can tell you it has an audio commentary by Brad Anderson, the director, and co-writer Stephen Gevinden. New audio commentary by Mike White and Jed Ayers. The Dark Side, a new interview with Brad Anderson. I guess the new is indicating the new stuff here. Mike's Session, a new interview with Stephen Gevinden. Back to the Bat, a new interview with producer David Collins and director of photography Uda Brasowitz. Invisible Design, a new interview with production designer Sophie Carlian. And The Sound of Dread, a new interview with composer Robert Millis and Jeffrey Taylor. A Twisted Collage, Alexandra Heller Nicholas on Session 9. Return to Danvers, documentary. The Haunted Palace, Horror's Hallowed Grounds, Session 9. This sounds like the Scream Factory stuff. Story to Screen with optional director commentary, deleted scenes, and alternate ending with optional director commentary. And then it's a 2-disc set. So on the second disc, that was disc 1, I guess, or it says 2-disc limited edition contents. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess they're all contained on the 2 discs. All that stuff I already read, but now they're saying rigid slipcase with new artwork by Christopher Shy, softcover book with new essays by Charles Bromesco, Simon Fitzjohn, and Alexandra Heller Nicholas, plus behind the scenes and location images, 6 collector art cards. So again, a really nice package from Second Sight, and they just recently announced they found the negative for The Hitcher. So they will be doing a really, I would assume, great new special edition of The Hitcher sometime, I think, late this year or maybe early next year. But regardless, it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait. It's going to be, as good as the stuff they've done previous. Okay, let me do this Indicator box set because this is kind of a beast. This is the Mae West in Hollywood box set, 1932 to 1943. Show you what the belly band is concealing there, and so as you can see, it's got 10 films, and I'm gonna go through real quick the Counterpart Kino releases just to give you a sense of the differences. Most of them are just an extra commentary that's not included on this set, but this set has commentaries that aren't included on those. So anyway, another great. I love the box set boxes for Indicator. They're always really beautiful and great looking on the shelf. This one also comes with a really nice thick book, a really nice soft cover book, but I mean, look at this. It's got, again, essays, photos, a listing for each movie, and interviews. Like, it looks like there's maybe some stuff from quotes from her, and I definitely learned some stuff through the special features in this set already. But let's go through the films that you get. Okay, we get Night After Night. And I'll be honest with you guys, I am not as familiar with Mae West as I'd like to be. A lot of her stuff, I know My Little Chickadee, but there's a few in here that I'm seeing for the first time and some that I haven't gotten to yet, but it's an exciting set because I love it when they put it all together in one like this. So this one includes both Night After Night and She Done Him Wrong. And those are, there's some good directors in this set, by the way. You got like a Raoul Walsh, you've got a Leo McCarey. So Night After Night, directed by Archie Mayo, and it's about a former boxer who purchases a classy speakeasy and falls in love with a wealthy society girl. I think we know who that is. And then, of course, She Done Him Wrong is the one that some people cite as like, Cary Grant's breakout, and I don't know if it exactly is. I know she would later claim that she discovered him, that she saw him as an extra and pulled him into her movie, but he had done films before this, but I think that has become, there's the She Done Him Wrong on the inside, that's become a legend that she liked to tout. So anyway, that one is mostly known because obviously it has Cary Grant in an early role, but that one is about a New York singer and nightclub owner named Lady Lou, who has more men friends than you can imagine, and one of them is a vicious criminal who's escaped and is on his way to see his girl, not realizing she hasn't exactly been faithful in his absence. Help is at hand in the form of a young Captain Cummings, a local temperance league leader. And that, of course, is Cary Grant. So yeah, a very interesting, if you don't know Mae West, I mean, she's truly one of a kind. Her screen presence and style of dialogue delivery and even the way that she moved, she kind of sachets around. And one of the things I found out in one of the commentaries, which I'll mention in a minute, is that she was an incredibly petite woman, and she wore these special shoes that were like, meant to give her, I want to say they give her like an extra 9 inches in height. And even so, she's still really short. But they're these sort of crazy platform shoes. And so I do believe that part of the way that she moves has to do with navigating these shoes, which she was very adamant about them not being photographed. And there's, I guess, a pair of them in like some classic museum or something. And I need to go look up a picture, but apparently you look at them and they're like you can't imagine wearing them. So that's something to think about when you're watching her perform and be sexy. She's wearing these giant shoes. Okay, so anyway, that's She Done Him Wrong and Night After Night. And this includes 2014 high-definition remaster of Night After Night, 2017 restoration of She Done Him Wrong from a 4K scan. This has an audio commentary with film critic and film historian Pamela Hutchinson. Mae West at UCLA, 1971, 29 minutes, an archival audio recording of the great performer in conversation at the University of California. Fascinating stuff. That's a great 29-minute little interview. She Done Him Right, 1933, 8-minute animated short film parody of She Done Him Wrong. And then Merry Old Soul, 1933, 8 minutes, Oswald Rabbit animated short. So anyway, that's that one. I got to go through these a little quicker. Let's see, what do we have next here? We have, we have My Little Chickadee in this one here. And this is a 2018 4K restoration. This is, of course, her and W.C. Fields. And this movie is kind of a Western story, and it's about this woman while on her way by stagecoach to visit relatives out west. Her name's Flower Bell. Is held up by a masked bandit who also takes the coach's shipment of gold. When he abducts her and they arrive in town, Flower Bell is suspected in being in collusion with the bandit, and that's sort of one of the plots, and the other is just W.C. Fields trying to hit on her the whole time and failing and being surprisingly adorable in his attempts. He's very funny, and they're good together, so you can see why this movie has a great reputation as one of her big ones. A love-hate relationship, appreciation of My Little Chickadee with Dr. Harriet Fields, granddaughter of W.C. Fields. So you get her thoughts on the relationship between Mae West and W.C. Fields. Hollywood Bowl, Walter Land's animation featuring Hollywood characters, including W.C. Fields. And this one also has Mae West, 1982, a television movie biopic of Mae West, starring Ann Gillian as Mae West. As well as James Brolin, Piper Laurie, and Roddy McDowall. So you get a whole other movie with that in here. That's good stuff. All right, let's try. The Heat is On. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. This is I'm No Angel, and then also Belle of the 90s. And I'm No Angel, I think, might be one of my favorites in this whole set. And there's a few reasons for it. One of which is that it's a carnival movie, and Mae West plays a woman named Tira, and she is a dancer and a lion tamer. And the commentary on this, which is great, is by Farron Smith Neme, and I'm a big fan of hers, and she's the one who talked about the shoes and stuff like that. But she also talks about how Mae West wanted to be a lion tamer. That was like a dream of hers, and so this is like a fulfilling of that dream, if you will. And she wanted to try and do some dangerous lion stunts, but they wouldn't let her. But anyway, it's a carnival movie. It's a lion tamer movie, and she's great in it. And yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure in the set. And then also Belle of the 90s, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet, but is directed by Leo McCarey, who is, he did Duck Soup. I mean, he's a great comic director. He did The Awful Truth with Cary Grant. And this one is about a cabaret entertainer who shifts her operations to New Orleans and becomes exceedingly popular with local men. So sounds like her just running wild, and I can't wait to check that out because I love Leo McCarey. There's Belle of the 90s. So yeah, this has the commentary on I'm No Angel, 2 Super 8 versions of I'm No Angel, and that's kind of it for this one. But that commentary is worth the price of admission alone. Next, we have Go West Young Man with Every Day's a Holiday. And Go West Young Man is her and Warren William and Randolph Scott. And Warren William is great, a great pre-code actor. And there's a lot of pre-codeness to some of these films, although this one is 1936, so it has to be toned down a little bit. But she plays Mavis Arden, a sensational movie star. Her following spans the world, and her personal appearance tours prove her popularity. On her way back from home from one such appearance, Arden's car breaks down. She orders her publicity man, Warren William, to find her a place to stay, suspicious that he planned the breakdown to keep her away from a man. However, she soon finds herself mooning over an attractive repairman in town, and that's Randolph Scott, etc., etc. So Henry Hathaway directed this one, also a good, solid journeyman director. And this one has a really nice commentary track from film historian Nora Fiore, a.k.a. the Nitrate Diva. And she is wonderful. I've loved that she's struck up a relationship with Indicator and done some commentaries on their noir stuff, and now this. A really great track, and she's a big fan of this movie. And then Every Day's a Holiday. That doesn't have any extra features, and that one is when a turn of the century trickster, confidence trickster, poses a famous French chanteuse to avoid arrest. She manages to expose the crooked police chief and smooth the path between the former mayoral candidate. So there's Every Day's a Holiday. Don't know that one either. Okay, got to move along here. We have Going to Town and Klondike Annie. And Going to Town, she's a saloon woman, loves men that love her, but her aspirations lead her into contract to marry a wealthy man. When he dies and leaves her all his fortune, she soon learns that although she has money, she is not yet a lady, so she embarks on a journey to become one. So that kind of a story. And then Klondike Annie, I think, is Raoul Walsh. Yeah, so Raoul Walsh directs that. I'm a big fan of him. Most recently, High Sierra came out on Blu-ray from Criterion. That's a Raoul Walsh picture, but he made a ton of great movies. And this one is about another San Francisco singer flees Chinatown on murder charges and posing as a missionary in Alaska. Has Victor McLaughlin in it. This one has an audio commentary on Klondike Annie with academic and curator Eloise Ross. Downtown Girl, 34 minutes, an appreciation of Mae West's unique persona with academic and film historian Lucy Bolton. So very nice stuff there. And then last but not least, we have The Heat's On. And that one is after an absence of 3 years, Mae West returned to the screen in a musical comedy, The Heat's On. This one's directed by Gregory Ratoff and has Victor Moore and William Gaxton, Lloyd Bridges in a small role. It says, let's see here. She's cast as Faye Lawrence, a famous Broadway actress who is loved intensely by her producer, Tony Ferris. Rival producer Forrest Stanton steals Faye away from Miss Ferris by convincing her that she's been blacklisted from Broadway by a blue-nosed moralist, Hannah Bainbridge. Anyway, so that's a musical, one of her later efforts, and again, another one I haven't seen. This does not have any extra features on it. But again, overall, like just a really solid box set, and that includes 10 films, comes in a really nice case, and has some nice features. Now, I'll just run through briefly the Kino counterparts. These came out prior to this set, like My Little Chickadee from Kino. This has a commentary by film historians Alexander Heller Nicholas and Josh Nelson, who I'm a big fan of, so I definitely want to hear that. Then we have, for instance, She Done Him Wrong. That has 2 commentaries by David Delval and Kat Ellinger, and then an introduction by Robert Osborne. And there's that cartoon, She Done Him Right, so they both have that. Let's see. I'm No Angel. This has a film historian commentary by the great Sam Deegan. Can't wait to hear that one. She's on a couple of these. And since I like this film so much, very, very much want to hear her track. Every Day's a Holiday. This has Kat Ellinger commentary. Very cool. Klondike Annie. This has Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson again. Go West Young Man. This has Lee Gambin, another great commentator, as a commentary track. Go Into Town has Kat Ellinger. These are all the Kino Blu-rays. And then Belle of the 90s has Sam Deegan again. These are, I don't know, this is exciting stuff. It's hard to decide what to do, but if you want a one-off, maybe pick a few of these. You could single it with these Kinos. Night After Night, this has Alexander Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson again. So just letting you know what each of these has on it. And maybe you don't want to dive in fully. Maybe you want to, slowly dip your toe in the waters of Mae West. But that's kind of where we're at with that. I'll just do a couple more things that I picked up. Out of the Blue. This is an incredible film from Dennis Hopper, starring the equally incredible Linda Manz. She plays a young girl, teenager, who's going through a tough time in that her dad I think he was a Vietnam vet, played by Dennis Hopper. In the beginning of the film, we see him driving a truck and drinking, and he crashes the truck into a bus full of school children and ends up killing some of them and going to prison. So now his daughter is 15, and she's just sort of wandering around, going to punk shows, meeting people. And she's a real character, and a lot of her personality, Linda Manz's personality, is in this character. And it's a dark movie, but pretty unforgettable, and good soundtrack, and like I said, just an amazing performance by Linda Manz. If you've seen her in Days of Heaven or The Wanderers, this is the one that really allows her to spread her wings and show you what she can do, and she's just remarkable. And it's a great effort by Dennis Hopper, and this is I want to say a brand new restoration of the film. This film's never been available on Blu-ray before. This is Region B locked. It's a BFI release. It has audio commentary with Dennis Hopper, producer Paul Lewis, and distributor John Allen Simon. That's from the old Anchor Bay DVD. New commentaries by Kate Renenbaum and Kat Ellinger again. Dennis Hopper interviewed by Tony Watts in 1984. That's a 97-minute interview. Screen Guardian talking Dennis Hopper, 1990, 91 minutes, audio only. Another long interview. The filmmaker talks to Derek Malcolm. Subverting Normality, Linda Manz comes from Out of the Blue, 2021, 18 minutes, a new video essay by Amanda Reyes and Chris O'Neill, two commentators / video essayists that I adore. I like their work a lot. Remembering Out of the Blue, 2021, 174 minutes, 9 new interviews with cast and crew. And it's almost 3 hours long, so that's going to be fantastic. Me and Dennis, 2021, 95 minutes, 4 new interviews with Hopper's friends and colleagues, featuring Ethan Hawke, Richard Linklater, Julian Schnabel, and Philippe Mora. I don't even know what to say about that. That's going to be incredible. Alex Cox recalls Out of the Blue, 13 minutes. Montclair Film Festival Q&A, 2020, 30 minutes. John Allen Simon and Elizabeth Carr discuss the history and restoration of the film. A selection of complimentary archive shorts, just a crazy amount of stuff. A Jack Nicholson radio spot. But yeah, I believe this is a new restoration. I remember seeing a Kickstarter for it a while ago. I think it's the same one. But I cannot wait to dig into this. This is just an incredible film from the 1980s that has been hard to see, and I think in that sense not being spoken about quite enough. So very excited about Out of the Blue on Blu-ray. And then I think last but not least, I picked up Flesh and Bone. This is a Paramount Blu-ray. It's kind of a bare bones thing. And this is a movie that I think a lot of people don't know about. But as you can see, it has Dennis Quaid, James Caan, and Meg Ryan. And it also has, if I recall, a very young, I'm blanking now on everything. Arliss Sweeney, Dennis Quaid leads a life as simple, and Gwyneth Paltrow, that's who I was trying to think of. I think she's in this. Yeah, there she is. Simple and unchanging as his native West Texas plains. He stocks vending machines, moving from town to town and from one familiar to a lover to another. Kay Davies, Meg Ryan, also calls the road her home. Running from a broken marriage, she doesn't know where she's headed, but any place is better than where she's been. Fate brings them together and gives them a future until a figure from the past, Arliss's father, James Caan, awakens a memory as deep and dark as a grave, a family history written in cold blood. From the writer of The Fabulous Baker Boys and The Wonder Boys, and co-starring Gwyneth Paltrow in her first major feature film role. So it was a big thing for her. But it has, if I recall, a really great noir vibe. It looks like Sidney Pollack was an executive producer on it. Written and directed by Steve Kloves, as it mentions, the screenwriter for those other films. And just a movie I remember digging quite a bit. And one that just has sort of completely dropped out of the conversation, I think because maybe it hasn't been available on Blu-ray as far as I know until now, and this doesn't have any extra features, unfortunately, but it was pretty cheap. But, just a good, neo-noir, western-y, dark film that is totally different than most of the movies that Meg Ryan made, and it's just a really interesting cast and a movie that I'm excited to check out again. Anyway, that's going to do it for this collection update. I know it wasn't a lot of stuff, but hopefully there's some stuff in there for you folks to check out. And I really thank you for your time, and I wish you a good week. Bye for now.